Good morning, good morning. Hello, hello. Just in the middle here again, boys. Like us to really get out of here. Sick of it. But nice reaction at our edge. Hopefully some of you were paying attention yesterday when we were talking about that. Daily balance continues to maintain. No change. I am not going to trade this. There was one trade today, and it was at our edge. And now we're back to this chop. So to me, this is untradeable. So I'm going to sit here until we leave this area. Yeah, I mean, it usually is on NVIDIA days. It might be a go look at gold kind of day. What the hell is this? Oh, why is this broken? You're probably going to trade between your 84 and your 91 today for quite a bit. Max Payne sits here at 84s on ES, and your Gamma Flip is at 92. So very tight range, but I'd expect that we'll probably continue to just kind of maintain this area for until we breach and hold the side of it. I would expect that we'll fade those edges. Russell has such insane movement today. Holy. What you want to see from sellers, and I don't know if this is going to happen, but you want them to fail here. Or sorry, you want buyers to fail here, and you want sellers to win as we push into this 85. They have to basically put in a lower high, and you would need to see them then reject to then try to push us down. I don't know if that's going to happen. I'm not sure. I really do think that we're kind of just stuck here, but that's the only way that I see us doing something new is if sell side can trap this guy off sides and then can then rotate for something like that. My worry is that we're stuck here and these are going to be fades at either one of these edges like this instead. We've got a guy taking in size into 86 though, which is the only thing that I really see as that potential to transition from another full rotation up, right? And someone getting trapped here, but we would still need them to shift below this from a hold here for that move to actually occur, right? So this would only be the arming stage, and then you'd still need to see that look below for this rotation down into 62s. But if this buyer instead eats up all these sellers here, and we would rotate back up, right, again, for another like 5-6 points here. So just I'm keeping my eye on it. Same buyer is present at 230 on NQ. A lot of size being taken in here. And I'm interested to see if like the guy who's taking in into 240 can get us back below, if the offer can get us below 230, 225, and then reoffer, that would give us a rotation down to 195 on NQ. So again, it's just we're so range bound here. This is the given range. We're watching to see if they can absorb here and then rotate us down, or if we're going to continue to just fade our edges here from 79 to 92. I don't have an answer for you yet. We haven't won this out. All I know is that we're taking in size here and that buyers are desperately trying to push us back up. But the where we're getting pushed back up into is so minimal that it's not even worth your time trying to bid. So I'm looking at it as a trap potentially for something new because we have this guy outside of our auction that I think could be punished. But I need to see it first, right? This is, again, this is not a short that I'm talking about. This is an arming signal that I'm looking for a lower high, because this guy I don't think is going to be matched. So we're looking to see if they get eaten, and then if we can then push below for them to move down, and then this is where we would then act. Just like we'd be looking to act here. So let's just wait it out and see what they want to do. But again, on ES and NQ, there's someone taking in size here. Let him play it out. If you need to play an edge, right, you are waiting for what happens into here or what happens into here, not in the mid as your first entry. So if you needed to try something, right, you're just watching our reactions because we know that we are rotating in between these two participants right now. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've got nothing until we show interest above that. I really do think we're probably just going to be fading in between these edges, especially with that guy losing there. Maybe we go a little bit higher, but not much. Into our top edge here. Watch to see if sell side rotates us down again. So we now know that there is a seller who's trapped off sides in the mid at our 85s, 86s, who just got pretty taken in there. But we've got a major participant above us. So we'll watch to see if we get back below this guy after getting basically rejected into this edge high. And then if we get back below, if they then try to gain momentum afterwards. That'll be the only thing that I'm watching. Or like a very clear shift above this and then take out of these highs for the upside play. But until then, I think that this is just like a fade on either side. You play off of 260, 275 as an offer for a lower high on NQ. Then you're just looking for rotations back down, trapping these participants into our top edge. Same thing with ES here. Holding our battle line from yesterday. It's the mid of our big range, our daily balance that we're in. And we look to trap into this top, and then we look for them to then push us back below Just watch your edge here. What's up, Kevin? Why did that show up? Oh, because I'm looking at NQ. Jesus, I'm out of it today. Again, I have zero confidence that we're going back up into these highs. Zero. So it's just about finding where these guys are going to get eaten, which I would assume is into our 92, 95, like we talked about. And then we're just watching for that dip back below, if it's going to happen again. We would need to see some like exceptional buying take place for us to rotate back up and retest those buyers. For NQ specifically, I think that you've got a pretty solid short-term setup with the lower high here at 54 with these guys who got taken in into 70. But we need to get below 35s for this to fully play. Very tight range right now. We're seeing absorption into this area. And you're looking to see if it will maintain. If it will, we're looking for that flip below 35s like we just talked about. And that would lead down. And if you look at your 15, you can see the same thing that we're talking about, which is below this value low of this 15-minute candle with POC above. So let's keep an eye on that. Like, why do I have to do this? I hate trading view, man. The lower high that I'm talking about, again, is this area here, where you want to maintain here. Nothing has changed about what I'm talking about. It's just taking a bit longer. But again, it's the 75 to 50 area. We're looking to see if we can hold it. If we can, we're in a great spot for continuation, just like we talked about. It's just watching to see if they fade this top edge on ES and NQ right into here. This would be us failing to get back into this upper auction if we can fade and then look back through, and then we don't test these highs again. It's the same thing on NQ as well, where we're watching to see if this fails, gets back in, rotates back through. This fails, looks back in, rotates back through, sweeps on an initiation below this. Until then, I cannot trade this. There's just like, it's so clear someone is taking in here. like I said before, I'm just waiting for the trap. I'm just looking to see if we actually can sustain back up here, or if they're going to trap this liquidity. I think that we're trapping. I don't see any reason why we go up to retest those highs, but we have to just be patient and wait. Flat Russell, ES and NQ testing our edge where we took in. We need to get back below POC of that previous 15, below 54s on NQ from a look above and fail above 75s. ES needs to look above this 96, right, trap here, and then get back below 92s and offer, just like our pathing suggests for both. If we can trap that and then see a lower high, then we get a really nice rotation down. If we hold here, I mean, our upside potential, like I said before, is just not large. What, we trade up into 701 again? Like, I don't think we're breaking out of our daily range here. So to me, it's just not worth. I would assume that like 96 to 705 on ES is just like hard resistance. And really it's like 702. So 96 to 702 is just going to be like a straight like absorb, fade, rotate back down to 84 to 75 area over and over and over again. Is it going to be a good trade up in these highs? I mean, it doesn't look like it. We'll see. But I really don't. I mean, it is just absorption up here. I'm trying to think of like when I would flip bullish if I was going to. And again, the issue is like this doesn't have room. Like we know that this is hard resistance into 701. So what am I going to do? Play this for 4 points to then fade it again? It just doesn't really make sense to me. So with how like top heavy this candle is, if this guy fails and then we look back below him, we then have this entire range to play just for this move. So from 92 down to our 80, right? Because we get all of this and then we get more of a breakdown. So to me, the risk to reward is way better on this side. So I'd rather just wait for that setup to like actually play out than trying to capture the 4 points that I can get here into this. I just yeah. And we have a flat RTY, so I'm just gonna wait for that guy to figure out what he wants to do. $50 is $50. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. If you're looking at like order flow, I think it is like pretty obvious that they're taking in here. If you're not looking at order flow, you're like, what is this guy talking about? Why are you looking at a chart without it? No, I haven't. What's up, Allie? I did a once and for all test on TradingView order flow though. No matter the plan that you have on TradingView, if you just have the standard or the tick data that you pay like $80 for, it is not accurate to bid ask. So if you're using it to do anything other than what I'm doing, which is this like POC trap liquidity above value areas, then you are not getting accurate data. So I just want to point that out there again, that if you're like a real order flow trader or you're trying to learn order flow, you cannot do that on TradingView. And I've repeated this since I've talked about it, since I brought up Footprint in the first place. But like, you need to be using a futures platform. You're not getting accurate data. Even with their tick data plan, where you're able to see tick by tick data, it is wrong 1 out of 4 times. So every one candle out of 4 will be the incorrect delta. So it'll then aggregate and it will not be accurate compared to bid ask. So I just want to point that out there again. I like did a full back test yesterday on that data. The way that we're handling it, the things that are accurate are the POC, the value high, the value low, and the overall delta for the window. So we know who's trapped based off of where we closed and the general direction. And I always back test it against my my actual trading platform data. We're getting the rotations that we thought we would. Again, this is like a really easy fade. There's no way that we were looking above there. Rotating back down, taking off some risk here as we push back down into our 26s from our flip at 54s and 92s here. I would expect us to continue downwards, but I'd like to see a decent reoffer. Again, like all we were looking for is this guy to get trapped into those highs. Flat Russell, fade that edge. See if we can get this pushed down. Maybe one of the easiest order flow trades I've ever seen. This is a great risk off for ES. And then we look to see if we get the full rotation. Like I said, you just need to see if we're going to be able to flip these VWAPs here for the next leg. But that's your battle line bid on NQ. We need to flip that for more if we're going to go down further. ES into our first target here as well, just into value of this previous candle at our 87s. If we can flip that, then we get one more leg down to 85s. And then below that, we can like actually get some real movement. And I'm just like, here, we can go back over to that other chart. Like I said, like this is just a fade at this flip. Like nothing is going to be able to go into these highs again. So as long as this is making a lower high, you just look for the flip back up, below, and then we'll look for that full rotation back to the other side. And it's like NQ very, very clearly with this guy above 75s, and then just the fade back through. We'll see if we get more. But the reason I brought that up is because Kevin just was talking about Top Step's footprint, and I'm guessing that it is also uptick downtick data and not actual bid ask. So you have to be very careful. Because these platforms are charging like real money for data that isn't even accurate, which is just like blows my mind. Like imagine paying an extra $80 to TradingView every month, and then like you don't even have real footprint data, and that's exactly why you're paying for it. But again, like it doesn't mean that you can't find use in that data. You just have to deep charts. I've seen there's so many new platforms popping up. They're all like TradingView clones. I don't know. I mean, like they look pretty. I don't know if their data is good. I don't know if their tools are good. No clue. All I know is that like every futures platform gives you all this shit for free, and then there are like all these other platforms they're trying to pop up to um like sell you something with a pretty UI. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's up to you. I just don't know if it's worth your. I have no clue. Like I said, I haven't like actually tested the platform, but I know that if you wanted like a better version of, I don't want to call it better. If you want the best of both worlds and you're already on Tradeivate, you can get the same tools that are on Tradeivate, but with like 4 or 5 times the features on NinjaTrader, and it's the same login. But the problem with NinjaTrader is that the rest of the interface is archaic. But if you get that, that would allow you to have order flow. It would let you have a better DOM. It would let you have a back tester and a strategy tester, and a way to like do a bit more. If you just are looking to like trade and have like a nice UI and you're not looking to really do anything else with it, Tradeify's good for that. If you wanted like a really modern platform where you were only looking to trade on one chart, like without having like TradingView open or something, I would say probably like Quant Tower or MotiveWave or NinjaTrader for like an exclusive. But if you're fine using Tradeivate and TradingView at the same time, then I think that that's like a really great setup as well. It just depends. Like a platform has to offer something new or benefit you in a way that you can't get for free from just like your brokerage itself. And none of these platforms so far have been able to offer anything that's like independently better. The reason why like I use TradingView is because I can easily make the scripts that I want in it, and they translate very well, and it's accessible by most people on mobile, right? It's all in the cloud. The problem with a lot of these other platforms is that it's not in the cloud, so you need a pretty good computer to run these things because they're intensive on your actual computer. Like Tradeify is fully cloud based unless you're using the desktop version. So you can run that on your phone, you can run it on your laptop, you can run it at work, right? It doesn't matter because it's all cloud. But like the NinjaTrader app is a full software suite that you have to download and requires like a decent computer. Same thing with a lot of these other platforms. So it just depends. But it gives you a lot more flexibility with like what you want to do. No Mac support? Oh, unlucky. I don't know. There's like 4 or 5 new order flow platforms that are popping up right now that are all just like TradingView clones, but better. I don't know why TradingView doesn't just add order flow. I really do not understand what their issue is. Every single person on their platform is asking for it. And they've been asking for it for like 10 years. And now other platforms can just pop up and take their user base. If you want to use the DOM more, are you on Tradeivate? Like what platform are you actually trading on? Yeah, you can just do a super easy transition over to Ninja if you wanted to. Or I mean, like I use the Tradeivate DOM. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just not incredibly advanced. But with the Ninja Trader DOM, you can get the free DOM from Order Flow Labs, which gives you a bunch more columns and a bit more advanced features. But I don't think it's really necessary. But if you wanted to be like a DOM trader, that would be a really easy transition because you wouldn't have to move your accounts or do anything. You log in with the same information. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, like I said, like it's not necessary. The only reason you should be looking to like upgrade is if you're already utilizing to the best of your ability the DOM that you currently have and you want to do more. If you're like not a scalper, I don't think DOM trading has any use whatsoever. Uh, like there's just no, you can just like trade level to zone or level to level and get much better information. But if you're a scalper, like it can be a little useful, but there's a lot of information where there's going to be a huge learning curve and it's going to be a lot of noise for I mean, most of it's going to be noise, but I don't know. It's one of those things where it requires like years to get good with. And you have to just like drill. Yeah, I'm sure it would be. I don't know. I feel like it might be the wrong aspect, and it's just like about not the entry itself, but the understanding of where we're trading and risking the proper amount for invalidation is more important than trying to like nail the perfect execution. Because you can do everything right, and then someone steps in and buys 50 contracts and sweeps through your level, and that's that, right? Like it doesn't, you can do everything right in the world execution wise, and it doesn't matter. If your stops are too tight, if you're executing too tight, and you're trading in the wrong spot and another participant steps in, you're just like, it doesn't matter, you know? It's just, yeah, you just like I always say, like we're just playing the zone and I'm just looking for someone to get caught off sides and then I'm just playing the secondary move. Like it's not a hard life that we're living here. Like we talked about exactly what we wanted to see. We waited for it to play, and then it's just like allowing the trade to actually like move. Right? So like this is our ES play. Like we're not doing anything crazy here. We're literally just waiting for our look above and fail, and then we play to our rotation down, like I said. You know, like this isn't like rocket science what we're doing here. You just have to be patient and have like a narrative that you're playing around, right? We wait for buyers to get trapped above. We see sell side initiate. We play our risk is just those buyers who are getting absorbed. And then we play it down to first target, which is POC. And then if we can flip this, we'll play it down to value low, which is at 82. Right? Like I'm not doing anything other than what I've already told you I'm doing. That doesn't require perfect execution. It requires me to understand what participants are doing and then trading around them. Like that's literally it. So when I can see what's happening on the smaller time frame chart, again, so this is what we were looking for. So this is the 30-second, this is a 1-minute chart. And then we can see the same thing happening on the 15-minute chart for ES. Right, so I'll bring the 15-minute over as well. And it's like, oh yeah, like these guys are fucked. So it's like, as long as you have an understanding of order flow and you see these guys getting taken in here and you just wait until your new 15, this is your risk, right? I mean, we're trading 3 points of risk here, just the value of our previous candle. And we're getting in here on the open of new 15s for our rotation down. Once we see that this guy's trapped. Like that's the trade. You don't need better execution. It's just like, it's the only thing that makes sense. And then like this is your PT1, and then this will be your PT2 into this 82 where that POC is here. But like, this isn't like a hard trade. You just have to be rational, which is hard for a lot of people. It's like, oh yeah, this is the top. We don't have much room above. We're seeing only these buy side deltas into these highs. We're seeing them getting taken in, and this is a ton of effort and not a lot of reward. So what I'm watching for is a look above for an arm, I'm looking for a look back below for a trigger, and then I'm looking for a rotation of the range back down to where our where things make sense, right? Back to reality. Taking off another one here. But like, do you guys see that? Is that like something that you can, like, nothing about what I've talked about today is not played. It just isn't playing at the time, at the speed in which you want it to, which is instantly, because you want instant gratification. You're chasing dopamine instead of just playing the setup. But like, the setup is there. That's exactly what we talked about, which is the look above, the look below, the rotation down, the offer, the rotation down. So our look above into our 15, reoffer, rotation, offer our value here into this edge, rotation down. And we're playing off of this buyer here, and then this buyer here, where we're looking for that absorption to occur for our continuation down, off of a failure to sustain outside of value. And then if we go back to look at what we were talking about from the beginning of what I said where our fades would be, do you see how we're just rotating the area that we talked about? Like, it's not, nothing about that changed. It's just like what's in play right now. You can see the range. There's a given area where price wants to trade right now, and it's this battle line to this gamma flip, and every time we look above, it's a fade. And if we look at the regime, it's positive. Fades, when we're above, we want to be playing with fades, right? There isn't, they're fading any sort of move above. And then we'll rotate back below. So it's just like having an understanding and then like having enough of a buffer to let that trade play, and a good enough, a solid enough trigger to then to follow along, which is the lower high. Once we see a trap, that's our catalyst. We then look for the reoffer, and then we look for the rotation, and then that becomes our trade. And then if we can get a runner for continuation below, sick, right? Then we get continuation down, because we have a trapped trader that we identified first. That was the first thing that we talked about. Was that we're not coming back up to retest that guy. That's our high of day. It's the top of our daily balance. If you were here for our afternoon conversation yesterday, where I went over how to find balance, how to identify our different time frames and the regions that we're looking to trade within. If you weren't here for that, if you weren't here for the afternoon yesterday, it was a very good lesson that we had. But this was the range and the areas that we identified live on stream. And we talked about how the best trades of the areas right now are into these edges. The first thing we did today was test into this edge and immediately reject off of it. Just like yesterday, the best trade was that wick into our lows. We're in a very clear daily balance right now. And this daily balance is at the top edge of our weekly balance, where if this guy fails, we have a huge structure that we can rotate down towards, which is this entire range here, right? This is our weekly balance that we're trading within, at the edge of. So like, it is incredibly important that we see, turn off everything, that we're able to sustain here, because if we can't, right, if we can't sustain these highs, we will come back down, and this balance here, which is our daily balance, is going to continue the time framing down as soon as we rotate that, and then we will retrace probably to here would be my guess, at least, and then we'll figure out what we want to do. So it's really important that they continue to defend these edges, and then we'll get a decision. I would assume that the decision will probably be this. We'll see what NVIDIA ER is, but this is the rotation. This is how far we can fall if NVIDIA ER is bad. If it's good, then we're still very bullish, right? We're still maintaining here at our top edge. So if this can hold, then this is going to fade on a look below, get back in, and then one time frame up. And then we will rotate this upper balance up into this structure here. And then we will just keep going for new all-time highs. So it's really important what happens here on the daily time frame to let us know what's going to happen. Right, this is the actual balance that we're currently trading in, which is just a breakdown and hold of this gap here. Right, this is our overall range right now. We have a balance here, and we have a balance here inside there. And so what we need to see is, are we going to be able to, and we're currently trading in the mid of this balance, which is why we only want to be looking for edge fades, because we have two distributions that we're currently trading within. Right, we have this upper and we have this lower. So we can transition all the way to the bottom and not be bearish yet, because we have no one trapped. We're just rotating this over and over again until we can one time frame out of here and start to breach back into this previous, right? We want to get in, and then that gives us room back up to these highs. If this fails, we will look for them to repair structure, right? Repair this gap. And then we'll figure out what we want to do. Does that offer then a explosive bounce after that gap is repaired, where we then push back into this daily balance and then rotate this range with this liquidity then trapped after repairing this structure, and then give us this room to the upside? Potentially. I could definitely see it as a possibility. But that's like kind of what the outlook is right now, which is we're just kind of waiting. And we know that we have this structure above that we can trade back into. And if we can get back above, we're in a great spot for, you know, these rotations back up. But right now you're fucking stuck right here at the mid. Does that make sense? Hope so. Yeah, I mean, I think most of you, if you weren't here for yesterday, you should watch it so that you have an understanding of why our levels are what they are. It was it's just like where our look below and failed is, where our look above and fail is, where our pivot is, right? Like, why are we trading what we're trading? Why are we looking for what we're looking for? Why are my zones what they are? And what's our overall like bias based off of, just like went through the full understanding of you know, where and what we're trading. But like you need to be able to identify that we're in a box, like by yourself. Like that is step one. Immediate bid and hold off our battle line lows on NQ and ES. No change. Rotation back up. We'll see if they fade again. Our range is ranging. Later, man. Full range rotation here again off of another fade on ES at our 95s. Rotation down to our 86, 82. NQ, another look above, failure, rotation. We'll watch to see if 55 holds offer on retest. There is no ability to push those highs, just a complete inability to push them. Watching to see if we get follow through here again. Taking off a little bit of risk here again. See if we can get a really solid reoffer into 55 to 65. Big seller sits at 75, so it could come all the way back up into that, but I'd love to see absorption into this 55, 65 for a very clear lower high. Remember, ES is stuck here because of options flow. That is the entire basis of what we're talking about. We're stuck. We're watching again for this guy to be trapped, this to be our catalyst, a reoffer, a lower high. This guy is now offsides. We can see this guy here is offsides on ES into these highs, just like this guy was. We're watching to see if we can sustain this, rotate down, take lows, or if they are going to just bid this again. I do not know, but already offer holding. We need to shift below and get below this 82.79 for any more downside, or we will continue to fade and rotate up like this and rotate down like this over and over again. Later, man. Good seeing you. Again, I'd love to see a lower high here. I want to see them get taken in, and I want to see this get pushed down from here for a secondary leg. It looks viable so far. ES buyers getting absolutely ruined into 89 to 90. Same thing with NQ sellers, or sorry, NQ buyers here into our 55, 65 like we talked about. I'd like them to take lows so we can head down to like 210 for target. That'd be sick. I understand though that like this has to be our first risk off. We have to accept that these are our edges where we're fading. So you always want to be taking PT into first target, right? Like this is the range until proven otherwise. If we can flip below, we get the continuation. But expect that price is going to continue to respect these value lows. And we're just going to be playing around these two pivots until we can show that interest below. I'm hoping that because we have offside participants above, that we will get this push below. It makes sense to, but we're being very news driven right now. So if we can't get follow through, right, and we're just getting this news candle and we can't get this flip below, then we don't get the continuation that we need, right? This will then just result in another rotation, and then we will rotate back up and do the same shit over and over and over again, right? So we want to see if we're going to get that follow through here. I need us below. Or we will rotate it up again. I hope that makes sense. If you guys are like struggling this month, understand that August is almost always like this. It's almost always flat. Here's your seasonality chart for August. You want to see something even worse? It's also the smallest trading range on average with seasonality. Like August is just not fun for most people to trade. So that's what it looks like between the two. There's your push down off of our failure at our 55.65 rotation. Great secondary trade. This is your next PT here on NQ as we push down into these lows. We need to hold this if we're going to go down further, or we should expect that this will be the fade. Same thing on ES. This is just our value low into our 82 to 84. We have to get below this and hold for more. New 15s have just opened. We are opening below POC to value. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by what? It says the website on the screenshot, on both screenshots. Oh, the put walls. He's just saying where he thinks potential short-term support and resistance will be based off of options flow. Beautiful trade on NQ, pushing down. ES now looking below as well. This is our potential follow through that we talked about. All you have to do is be patient. And that's your full rotation. So even our 55.65 reoffer has given us over 60 points. So like the trade is worth, man. I'm telling you. Runners get paid. All you have to do is fade the edge. You wait for the arm, you look for the lower high, you use that as your risk, and then you rotate it down. As soon as we find someone who's trapped, like we have our setup. Like, you guys are just doing too much. Just wait for someone to get trapped off sides, look for the lower high, and then play it down. They're trying to hold this 200, 210 here on NQ. We'll see if they're actually able to sustain that below value here. I don't know about this one. Watching. I feel like we need to go up a bit higher than this. Again, they're trying to take in here into 200, 210. Let's see if they continue to be able to defend it on NQ. I think we probably need to come back up to 230. That'd be my guess. Like 215, 230. Retest our battle line, you know? Oh shit, what did I just close? How do I reopen that? Okay, well, it's gone forever. Nicely done, Surf. Battle chart. It's the same one from yesterday. Nothing's changed. Here, I can post it like another version of it right now, though. But it's been the same levels. We're just trading in a range. So we have to get below 180 and sustain for any sort of like real downside. Or this is just going to be continuing where they bid it up. This low here. Oh, it'll help if I turned off ETH. We're just rejecting this node over and over again on the composite. That's all this is. So we just continue to hit our heads on this. This guy's offsides. We push into this to retest. It's a lower high overall. We look for the fade, and then we look for the push below. If we can ever hold below 180, then we have lots of room to down on the downside. But every time we look below 180, we just look for a bid back above, and then it gives us a full rotation back up. We can shift this to here. And then I'll add this as our yellow box, just like it was before. This is just our actual resistance on the day. This is our range. Mid of daily balance. $55. There you go. Mid of all right, now I have to realign all of our charts. Yeah. Okay, well that 15 minutes just scuffed. Delete these boxes. There's no help in that one. We need to flip these. Right now we have sellers offsides into 185 to 200 with a higher low. We have buyers getting absorbed into 220, 225. So it's a two-sided auction right now, very tight, watching for a directional decision. We either get back above our 225s and flip for rotations back up to VWAP up at 250 for 25 points. Or this will hold, and we are looking for that shift below 180 to actually lead to more downside. Again, the entire motive for today of what we were looking for is that we know that this is max pain. So this is just where we're basically fading the gamma flip and the max pain from the open, right? Just over and over again. We're just rotating this until we can actually sustain and then actually see some like dealer flows step in to move the market. Until then, you're just kind of like stuck here. It's the same situation as yesterday where we just got stuck at max pain. So we understand that this is balance. We talked about this as the first thing we talked about. It's just like this fading our edges and only looking for continuation once we see participants actively trying to step down, and then we are able to flip our lows and reoffer. Right now, you've got sellers taking in buyers here on both. You can see that on our footprint. They're taking in size right now on both of these guys. But if we step back up, right, then we'll rotate. If the seller can't hold this lower high. So far we're taking in the bid pretty decently, but a little passive. We want to see a bit more excitement, a bit more of a trap. We definitely have trap liquidity on ES. We have a little on NQ, but I would like to see us below this 200, 180 for anything to be really real, to be honest. The only thing that makes sense to me right now is that this guy is going to continue to try to defend, and you're just in this little local rotation between these two participants short term. Like I need to see us like actually sustain below this low for me to not just think this is just going to be a pop back above. I really hope that ES can lead us here. New 15s have opened. I don't know if they want it, man. This might be another full rotation. If they're unwilling. My confidence in this next leg is like 15%, by the way. Like, I think this is probably just going to be another fade. Until we look below 180 and hold on ES, or sorry, on NQ, like I have zero confidence in continuation. Just like absolutely zero. Maybe we just rotate between 230 and 180, but I need us below this for anything real. It's the same thing on ES. Like this has to show interest here below 79s and continue down from a hold of 82s. Like we have to trap and continue, or this is just going to bid back up, flip back over 88s, and then rotate back up the highs. If there's no sustain, there's no sustain. So we'll give it a little bit of time. I'm just in runners, waiting just for direction. But again, like my confidence is just not with this move. We would need to sweep or see something new. Right now, your trade is hold of our low at 190 with bid trying to step up here for a higher low at 200, right? So it's 10 points of risk to not take out our lows, and you're looking for bids to reclaim and flip back over 25s from the higher low, just like we have on chart. We have to flip below for more, or they will try to push us back up to our battle line. ES, again, has to look below, ideally with Russell follow through, or this will be the same fade and then rotation back up that we've been seeing over and over again. See what they do as we push back up into 220. Holy crap. Have you guys seen this like flash flood that happened in China? Insane. Those waves are nuts. It's like a mountain. Still holding our lows like we talked about. There's no more downside until we can flip below that. Just is what it is. We'll rotate back up to 225 on NQ short term. 220, 225. Just into those that absorption. Got to flip below this 200, 180, and then hold offer for more. Or this will be the low and we'll rotate back up our entire range, just like we've continued to do. If you're long, this is a great first risk off. Just into this red here. We have to flip above for more. Yes, there's nothing's happened. We're just holding our EM at 79.75. If we pop back up above, then maybe there's upside. It's too soon to tell. NQ, much better setup. For short term. ES might shift as well, and we'd just be looking for price to push back over 82s. 82, 85 flip, and then we would go up. We'll watch to see what happens into NQ, into these highs. If they just take in again. So again, like a lot of the trading as of late has been incredibly choppy or just balanced, very small ranges. And I just want to like show this again. The reference point or the straddle right now that's on for 0DTE on SPX is a $25 or 32 point BPS on SPX. That's the straddle, 76.70. So like this range that we're in right now is the range that is our straddle for the day. Like we're not doing anything new. We're just rotating between our straddle prices, which makes it checks out. And until we can breach and hold, I don't really have much more to give, right? Like it's just the fade. Like we talked about from literal minute one, we're holding between this and this and watching for fades outside of these areas until proven otherwise. So we would need to see a very clear shift. This is just the same levels, but on ES projected, so that you still have like our actual levels here. But you would need to see like a very clear flip below and then hold of this as resistance, and then we can definitely look down more. But until then, we have to respect that this potentially might just be the worst market you've ever traded in between this area. You know, like this could easily be the next 2 hours if we can't shift below here. So we'll see what they do here, but we definitely need to get below this, like we've been talking about, or this will be another fade that rotates us back up, just like all these other attempts have been, right? So be aware of that. Until we see the shift, expect the trade to continue to try to maintain. Which is why, again, I've said, like, you either want to be risking off most of your position or looking to try to play off of, like, the local low 4 rotations back up to get cheeky, right? We need to get back above, or this could potentially happen. So I'm hoping that NQ will lead us, but you, again, need to just be aware that like we're still holding our lows. And if we can get back above, then it's the same thing, right? Where we're still maintaining this low, like, and we're now bidding here for the higher low. And if we can get above, then we'll rotate back up again. If this can continue to maintain this 26, then we can look for sell side to try to step below for some sort of like continuation down like that. But as of right now, again, you're just kind of like stuck here short term while we wait. Between that local low at our green box and this seller here into 20 to 26. Yeah, definitely. Definitely, Maldito. Especially with Russell flat, right? Let's, we haven't done Russell levels in a while. Let me do this real quick. Correct some of these structures. Most of it's good still. It's just they got a little crazy from the last couple days. So all this shit needs to go. Okay, super easy. Okay, that's more than enough. Good follow through so far on ES. Looking below. Let's see if we can hold it. That's exactly what we want to see. NQ flat. I don't think I've heard the voice thing once today. $220, $226 continues to maintain as our resistance. No change. We need to get below 180, boys. I took off one contract there on NQ into 180, watching to see if we can offer here and I can average down, or if this is going to just fail and then look back up, trapping liquidity below 180 like every other attempt. This is now my area of interest where I want to see us continue to try to reject on ES. Yo, what's up, man? It's been a while. I'm all right. Keep myself incredibly busy. Probably too busy. But when you're excited about stuff, it's hard to stop. Good absorption so far into 190. See if we can get back below 180. Really solid reoffer there. I would love to see us hold. Playlists? Man. Not really. I've been listening to a lot of music lately. I've been listening to podcasts. I don't know. Let me see what like my last ones are. I wish I could play music on stream, man. It's so sad that it has to just be silent or like shitty lo-fi. Makes me want to go back to YouTube. Or sorry, back to Twitch where it doesn't matter. I should. What's the other one? Steak? What, I don't know. Or is that the same thing? What's the one that Drake owns? Is that Kick? New 15s have opened. We're opening below POC and value of our previous candle. Man, I want us to sustain this so badly. We're not seeing the volume yet that I'd like, but we are where we want to be trading. We've trapped into our highs here into 20 to 26. POC up into this high, immediate push down to the other side. So this looks okay. We're doing what we need to do, right? Which is sustain these lows, trap this liquidity above, and then offer. We just need follow through here. This is going to be the most important point, is that if we can get this follow through on this edge, then we're in a great spot. It is so necessary for continuation. I'm watching like 180, 195 to see if we can hold, or if this is going to fail from just the lack of sustain. A bit of an exhaustion, right? Big edge here for us. Rustle into our oscillation low. Watching to see if we can take in here as we look, and then look back below just like before. We need someone to get trapped here. This is the only way that this catalyst plays for continuation down. Again, we've trapped into 84s to 82s here. We swept down below, and we have a sweeper here where a seller is, I'm pretty sure, willing to defend into 77 to 80. So that'll probably be where we actually go test-wise. And then I want to see us then show that interest for a continuation down like that, or some sort of absorption here like we're seeing where we're like pushing, but then I need us back below this, and then this is then our catalyst for the continuation after holding our resistance. Same thing here. I want to see us take in the size here and then get back below, just like we did here into these highs. Like it has to happen. That's the only way that these areas don't just bounce back and then offer a fade, right? Like they say, look below and fail. Only bearish on hold below. It has to sustain. We have to see willingness or from our participants, or this just becomes a trap that then offers a really nice rotation up. So we watch to see how this liquidity builds here, and then this becomes our arm, and then our trigger is the look back below, and then the secondary seller stepping in. Again, we've got this very clear POC down there on both NQ and ES, where we need to step from these participants that are currently trying to take in size, are trying to push up and being taken in. Into our 80, we have to step below this, so this will be where they try to higher low defend. We want to see sell side try to sweep it and trap this liquidity above like we just talked about. So important. Because what does it mean if we hold the higher low? So like we're just rejecting this edge here, right? That makes sense. That's into your 195, into these highs where we saw them absorb last. But if we then hold this and the bid steps up, and then this is the offside liquidity where after this push to the other side, right? Then that's like buy side then willing to defend, and then we'll rotate this back up to these sellers here. So we want to see a very clear willingness from this guy who's got taken in to then offer below, defend, and then we get big move down. If not, right, then higher low hold. That's your risk here. And as soon as we pop back over this, you expect the traverse back up to 220. We've got a bit more time on this 15-minute candle, 8 minutes. So a bit more decisions, room for decisions to happen. Same thing here on ES into our value. We have to flip below this. We're still just in that building stage. Sweepers need to happen. Yo, just watching to see if we fade or if this is going to come back up. So far holding that 180, no change. Got a little bit of time left. This candle. I feel like we just need ES up into this high, man. Yeah, let's see what happens on ES here. Mm-hmm. I just want to trap into this. That's all I want. This is like our first real volume on Russell as well, into this 06. So if this guy at 76s can't do anything with it here, we look above into 80, and then we look back below 76, it's probably a short with how we're building here. Watching NQ into our absorption that we already spotted and called out at 20 to 26. This is target from the flip and hold of our 180. And then the 200 bid, we go to this 2026, just retesting our sellers. This is the full rotation. Expect them to try to take in here. And then this is where we watch to see if there's a wall that we can then rotate down now that they've retested off of that failure at the low. That's what I was saying with the higher low there. It's a exhaustive move. If they can't push us back below, then we have that offside liquidity, and then we're going to look for rotation right back up to where our seller was last. Nothing's actually changed overall. It's just a rotation back to where sell side sat last because we failed at lows. So now we're rotating back up to retest to see if these guys are still present. And if they aren't, right, then we'll do the larger rotation up. If not, then this is just us coming back to our seller across the board. And then we look for that lower high and then the rotation back through to then, now that we would have new liquidity to draw off of. This is the exact reason why that look below 180 is so important off of the absorption here, because that's our arm. And then our trigger would then be the sweep through. This is still fine, but you have to be willing to stop out and understand that we rotate up to the other side of our overall value that we have marked off of the failure, right? If we can't put in the lower high and we can't hold and fade below our value low, we traverse to the other side of value, which is just this range. Now that we're on the other side of value, now is not the time to stop out of your trade if you've been holding, right? You should have stopped out where we talked about. Because we know that as soon as we get back into this, we're just traversing back up to the other side. This is still just resistance though. We have to flip this and hold. And if we can do that, then we go up. If this fails, then we're just we're at our sellers again. What we need to see though is from this area, can we absorb these guys and then shift below? We've got a couple of seconds left on this 15. We'll see what they do here, but we're still just holding our value. If we shift above, then we rotate our full range back up. If this continues to hold, then there's no change. So I'm looking to see if ES can trap into here like we have pathed, and then if we can step back below, or if they're going to sustain this and then rotate us up. Russell's still just auctioning. Holding value high of our previous candle so far in NQ. Need to see us step over 30s, 25-30 for upside, or I expect us to take in size here, trap, and then rotate back through off of a failure, just like we saw at our other edge. I'm expecting the same situation to occur. It's just value high, man. We got to show interest over value high. Like this. Or we'll look for the fade, the look back through, and then failure. every single move below 180 has been absorbed on these rotations so far this week. If you guys are confused at what I'm talking about, again, this is just the mid auction that's trying to take place here. So you have to respect, why is there volume here? You have to respect that we're currently rotating this lower auction and we're in the mid, we're retesting the breakdown here from our upper into our lower. So what needs to happen is we need to very clearly show that this liquidity is offsides and then rotate back below it. So we're trying to trap here. And if they fail to trap, then we'll rotate back up. Do I have a better version of this? Yeah, so this is also a good look. It is just like our deviation of VWAP, right? So if we're in a balanced market, we're at our lower deviation and we need to get below this 180 for more. It's so clear. Or this is just a fade for rotations back up to our mean. So what we want to see here is a trap and then a look below and hold below 180, like we've been saying over and over again, or what happens. What happens if we can't get below this? We're going to go to here, and then we're going to go to here, right? So if they try to hold this and we can't trap into this liquidity and step back below and get us below this, then you're expecting that this then comes up to this and then rotates the other side, right? Like it's just we need below this for more. Or expect more of the same. Yeah, right. I need us over this for longs. Well, oh, what level? The equivalent on ES is 84. Basically, 80-84 flip on SPX 670 to 65.6. I need to see us flip above that, or this is where I expect them to try to take in to defend. It's just the end of the move off that failure at the lows for me. It's basically like us looking at these highs before and being like, there's not much more upside. It's like I need to see like a very clear recovery, and then we can rotate the range. But like I need to see this flip for me for a bit more. So I probably won't play this first look because I'm too scared that this is going to trap and then rotate like this. So I'll wait for this retest into here and then play the rebid and then play this back up like that. So the secondary move. Because I don't want to get caught here on a look-in exhaustive bid and then rotation back through, which is what could potentially happen on both of these. More than happy to miss a move. If I'm not already in from the look below 180, I will wait. Because we already know that like this is a potential just reversion trade to VWAP, and then that's all we get. So I need to, where is our VWAP chart? Oh yeah, here. So I guess your risk could be 210 to 226, and then you're looking for a PT of 250, 255. That's fine. That's a good risk to reward. You're risking like 15 points for, 30, 40 points. But with how slow we are, I don't, not a fan. Especially because we already know that like if balance is going to persist, we'll get a retest of this hold. I can drag this over more now that we've got this developed. So like this is just our look above value high. So when we actually get the sustain, it should be pretty obvious. And that might just be, like we said, like a retest after coming back into our seller where we shorted at 255 on NQ for this push down. And then coming into retest battle line at 226 to 220 where we saw that absorption. And then we go from there for the move up to 290. That to me would be a much better trade because I don't expect us to immediately just shoot for the stars here because we have this POC. So what I'm expecting is that this guy here into 240, 250 is going to be our short-term resistance, profit taking into, 240. Like this. And then we'll get a good retest and that'll let us know which way we want to go. Because again, like this is just a little slight look above as right now. We have 4 minutes left on this candle. NQ looks better. I don't know. The ES recovery of our val low is pretty important. NQ's like already kind of done the full move in my opinion. So that's the issue. It's like I just don't know where we can actually go until I see us show interest over 45.50. Or that just feels like the ceiling. I hate it when my lines get deleted, man. That sucks. New 15s have opened. This is target on NQ. This is POC. You'll see some profit taking here. And then if we can flip and hold over this 40, 50 area, should be able to rotate back up to 75s, just to value high. ES has by far the most upside potential here, comparatively. Let's see if we can flag here 83, 86 on ES for rotation to 90 and then 95, or if they absorb and flip us back below. I want to see us sustain this. Big buyer stepped in. And this is why it's so incredibly important to wait for confirmation, because we already knew what to expect, right? So unless the paradigm is going to shift, which is they're not going to buy back up below 180, like there's nothing you can do other than just play the rotation or wait it out for a better move. I can't stress that enough. Like these pivots are not like it's not like, oh, maybe it goes a little bit higher. It's like, no, you close, bud. Like if we don't hold, you close. You have to, because we will rotate the entire range if there is not acceptance at our edge low. Like I cannot stress that enough, that like these look below and fails are exactly that. Like we will continue to maintain the same auction until proven otherwise, and every fade below has to be sustained. If we don't sustain, we will gravitate back up to the other side. It is just like it is the law. It is just a natural law. Market will go where the liquidity is, right? Off of a failure at the lows, we will gravitate towards the other side of the auction. And so when we recover stuff like that, like there's not much you can do other than either wait for that absorption, right? Or just look to try to flip and play the other side. But I don't really think that this is a great move up either. And I'm watching to see if we can bid and hold here now at 83, 86. If we can, then again, 90 and 95 above for upside continuation on ES for this flag. But yeah, I mean, we played the entire thing to the downside. Do I need to play this all the way back up? No, not really. No. I don't need to be in every rotation. I just need to be aware of where our edges are and what can happen. And then I look to see if we get the continuation or not. Again, we know the range. Nothing has changed about this. This is our full structure here. Every fade so far has failed in this look below 180. As soon as we step back up, we're able to rotate, and now we're just back up into these highs. This is where we saw the absorption. This is where we took our short at 55s for this play down. We'll see what happens. We need follow through. I'm looking at ES in particular because I think it has a lot more room off of this failure. If we can build and hold here, I like this 83, 86 continuation. As soon as we get this step up of 86, should be able to then look for our push up into our 95s here. I'm not bearish on ES until we can flip and hold below 80s. We have to be able to hold this, or this will continue to be where we just fade back up, just like earlier in the day. Every rotation here. That's how we took our longs this morning, was this level. So until I can see us sustain it, why would I expect we wouldn't do the same thing again? Like either we hold the edge or we don't. And, you know, maybe we do get a trap, right? Like maybe this, it goes up a bit more. I don't care. I'll stop out and then I'll just wait for the reoffer and then I'll play that as our edge. It doesn't matter to me because I know that if we can flip and hold this, that the likelihood of us rotating is way too high. And then we look for the POC and then we look for the value high edge here on our daily. Right, this is your value high. This is your value low. So if we can't hold value low as resistance and show clear acceptance below, then there's no reason looking for a continuation move. We're expecting more balance because we entered back into value here on our pivot and have now traded back up to our POC. This is target one and into our view up. Can they sell us from here? Yeah, for sure. Do I want to stay in a short offsides for this entire duration with another potential leg up? No. No, I don't. Not at all. Like, just you have to use your brain. There's no greed here. We either traverse the range or we don't. If we can sustain the edge, great. Continuation down. and then we play this. But like, think about this again, like from a rational standpoint. If we're back above value, which is here, and we rotate up to POC, which is here, we could still reject here and then come down. And then what? You stop out here? Or if you rotate up here, then we're just into our highs again, where our seller's been over and over again on the day, and you stop out at the high of day because you were unwilling to let go down here. And now you faded the wrong edge on either side of the rotation, right? Like you have to, if you're going to try for continuation trades as your first trade of the day, and you're unwilling to try up here for your sells where we took our short, and then you try down here, you need to ask yourself why you're only willing to try to play breakout continuations and not the actual range that's being presented to you. Like that's something that you need to like figure out with yourself. If you feel like you're always on the wrong side of a trade and you're only willing to try to play the continuation and not the traverse through, and then you still don't maintain your stops at our edges, like that is a question and something as a conversation that you need to have with your therapist. But yeah, so we have room on ES. I like this for continuation potential. If we can hold this, I'm looking for our push into our value high edge. This is PT1 here into our POC shift at 690. And then I look for 94, 95. This is NQ target into value high here in our absorption into 65, 75, where we took our first short on the day. And again, I'm watching to see if we can hold our move here. This is PT1 into POC shift. And then if we can push up, I'm looking for a full value rotation. So this is, again, just our VWAP here into POC. What you're watching for from this failure below 180 is, can we now sustain above POC and rotate to the high edge of this node like this into our edge for our 280? If this fails here, we would need to see like a pretty clear dip and then hold of 55s again, where we took our secondary shorts on NQ, right here, from the look above, offer, rotation down. You'd want to see a very similar thing with this then being target 1. And then if we could get the continuation below, this would be target 2. So we're watching to see if they can build here now for this push into value high. It's the same everything, same logic. And we know that we need to get below 180 for anything more. Can you add a volume profile and show previous 15-minute with orb 30-second entry breakout, please? Yes, I can. So your 30-second is here. 78 to 84, which is the flip of what we were talking about for the continuation trade here. So it's just the flip that we're playing right now for this push up into first target at 90. Later, Ty. News bomb soon? I mean, maybe, man. I just we're still just trading in yesterday's value. Like, there's nothing to do. We just did the only move that's possible on either side, right? Like that you gotta you're still falling for the trap, right? We need to see acceptance. Even if there's a news bomb, like I still need to see a retest of this area, or it's just another fade. There's nothing new yet. Maybe we get news, maybe we don't. I don't know. All I know is that we are traversing our known value. New 15s have opened, opening above POC to value. See if we get continuation or if they hold us here. I just got filled on my first contracts there into 90 on ES from our 83, 86 hold. Looking for continuation into 95s for secondary target. Did we break out of orb first 30-second? Are you asking if we're outside of the 30-second opening range on the 15-minute chart? We are above the 30-second open on both NQ and ES. Yeah, we're above. You place trades on the 3-second chart? It's weird. Oh, 30. Yeah, no, we've done the full range. We are back into our absorption here at 70 on NQ and on ES into our 90. We're watching to see if we get one more leg up on ES with Russell having room for its oscillation. But this is where we met our seller on the last attempt. We're just doing a very clear rotation between our low and high here. We still have lots of room on ES if we can get above this 90. I guess not lots, but in the sense of structure, we have 5 to 6 points here. Whereas like NQ has done its full range. So if like we're looking at this just from a like a value perspective, this is what I'm talking about. So ES has done its full rotation here. This is our volume profile. Let me turn off drawings real quick so you can see. So we just failed to hold below 180, right? We got back inside value here above 200s, rotated up to our 250 target, and now have pushed up into our secondary targets here into our 275, 280, whatever you want to call it, where this absorption occurred. This is value high. So we've now rotated from our recovery of value low to POC to value high. That's your full traverse through our balanced profile off of a fade at the lows from a failure to sustain. ES still has a little bit of room. If you're playing off of the 83.86 hold, this is the trade that we're doing right now, which is the hold and recovery of previous day value, as well as current day value right here from our 80s. And then the look above POC and sustain for rotation up to previous day POC and our value high here on the day. We've got a nice little target cluster with POC from previous day, our current value high, and yesterday's value high. Those are the 3 targets. We took profit into 90s. I'm looking for this 93, 95 next if we can get it. We know that this is where they trapped in the last attempt. This is where we took our shorts on both. From this very clear look above and fail. We are watching to see if we can get more here. But these are just balanced rotations on recovery of our value low. Just like this is a balanced rotation from the failure at our value high. POC is always a target, not a entry level, unless you can see something else that sustains it. And it's just a rotation over and over and over again. We held Asian lows, which is interesting. Just rotating this. Until we can see that shift below, like it's just is what it is. It's the same balance. And the thing that we're rejecting is this higher time frame composite. We have a POC here at 310, 320 that we need to shift above, or we will continue to hit our heads on that. Right, this is where we're hitting our heads. We have to show interest above, or we'll continue to just rotate like that. As soon as we are able to show interest, then we have more room. But until then, like this is your range. And that is what we have drawn. Is there any confusion about this, or are we good? I don't know. It's always so quiet on days like this where it just feels like it's super simple and people should be making money, but I feel like you're just fading the wrong edge. And I don't know what to do because you guys get quiet and then you don't ask questions and you don't do like you like all shut down. And then it's just me talking to myself while we do perfect balance like rotations over and over again. Yeah, no, I mean like this edge is just a target. It's not a trade because remember the uh the reason why we shorted the last one is because we trapped above, right? We trapped in and then we got a lower offer once we saw absorption. Just like at these lows, if we can't sustain, we look for the other side and then we look for the rotation up because now we have someone that we're playing off of and we have a clear invalidation. That's the important part. And it's the same thing on like ES where we had a very clear value edge and then we looked back below and then we look for the rotation through value, right? Just because we're at an edge doesn't mean that there's a trade. We look at it as a place to look for opportunities instead of looking randomly. We watch those areas specifically. Remember, AMT or auction market theory is a framework for your order flow based trades. So we're looking for a trapped trader or an exhausted trader into an edge, and then we are looking for an opposite reactive bounce based off of a level of interest. And then we look to then play off of that once we see the flow that supports the move. That then creates the traverse, right? That's the whole reasoning behind it. Because if you don't have that layer, then you don't know how long that move is going to take, and then you're in a trade for 5 hours. Oh yeah, the NQ 30-second opening range is much better than ES's for today, for sure. But the reason why 8386 made sense for a long is because that's your opening range high, and that gave us a nice bid for the continuation up. Right, like if we look at the 30-second chart for ES, is that, oh yeah, right, like this is that recovery of our battle line and the push, and then it's just us flagging above our, right, like I'm not taking a trade in our 30-second opening range, but I will take the retest and then push to POC as a trade. So if like we can continue to maintain here, then hell yeah, I'll take that. And then first target is always going to be POC, secondary target's always going to be value high. But like NQ had a way cleaner 30-second opening range. It's literally just our 180 that we keep talking about. So like this is what that looks like on this chart. right? Like it's just, this is the recovery of our low off of a failure here. And I'm not taking anything in here, which is what we said, not touching it. But if you're going to look for a trade, it'll be on the hold of this for this rotation back up. And then first target's going to be POC. Secondary target is going to be our value high. Off of the hold of our range high here. And push into our VWAP. Good rejection so far on NQ at our highs. Watching 65s again, just like we did on the last push. RTY is just completely flat. So without it, we are heavily reliant on NQ for ES continuation. We need NQ to find a low here into 65.70 and bid if we're going to keep going, or Russell to start to pick up the pace, which it doesn't seem to want to do as of right now. So we're watching to see if we continue to find buyers as we push down into this. And we're going to trap a bit higher, maybe like that. Or if this just actually peters off and starts to rotate us back down from our highs. I don't think that there's an entry here on NQ, personally, until we can flip back below 65.70 and offer it. You need that, or this is just going to trap you. ES still looks fine. Again, we're just dependent on NQ here. And NQ is coming back down to retest these guys here. So we potentially trap these sellers into these lows, and then we go from there. I don't know. We'll have to see. RTY is just actually flat, dead. It looks like I don't have data. That's how dead it is. And we're just retesting our 86, 83 now on ES. See if we can hold this and flag and go for this last leg. If NQ can find a bid here, or if this will flip, reoffer, and then rotate. That was our first like real absorption there on NQ on that retest. That might be the relief bounce and fail off of into that 80. Watching to see if we flip below 65s now off of that. If that's all we get. Retesting. It's a big, I mean, it's like our only pivot on NQ here. Watching to see what they do. We took in like 1,200 contracts into 90 on ES. Like 170 on NQ into 280. Or what? 120. Yeah, 120. Sorry, reading is hard. Russell getting a little bit of a bid. retesting our absorption here. Our seller who's taking in passively at 80.85 on NQ from another hold of our 70. See what the reaction is. Can we step above him, or do they hold it? There's someone like so clearly taking in into 90 to 92 on EOS. We have to flip it. We flip it, we rotate to 95. Failure is just the same thing again. I just got filled on another 5 contracts into 90. So that's my second fill now. Next PT I have is 94 and 96 above if we can flip. Full rotation here on NQ from our hold of 70s. ES following now. Again, we have to get over this 90, 92 for anything more, or they're going to continue to take. There's big size trading up here, man. I don't know if we're getting through this. We've taken in like 2,375 contracts on ES here into 90. We need Russell to show a bit more strength. You guys just need to set limits, man. Like, set a limit stop, have profits, and just like let it play. I'm telling you, that's the only way in markets like this. Because if you're like trying to like scalp it, like day trade it, where you're looking for like minute trades and then each minute is sideways, like you're just going to be miserable. And give yourself like 3 points of risk on ES, give yourself like 10, 15 points on NQ, and then just let it traverse through the range, you know? Wait for new 15s, whatever you got to do. I really don't know if we're pushing through this though, honestly. Like, what is it going to take for us to be able to shift over this guy? I guess we'll find out here. New 15's opening. Opening below POC on NQ. NQ I'm not worried about until we shift below 65 and show that offer. This just looks like balance to me. But ES in particular is a bit worrisome. If we continue to take here, then I'm just going to come back to break even with the amount of size that's being taken there. For NQ in particular, I want to see like a pretty clear look below and then rejection. Here, like this is what I have on ES from our flip so that you can see the same thing that I do here. Right, this is them taking into these highs, into that 90. And we've been able to add multiple times at this 86 level and trade up. So I've been able to scalp this region pretty easily just with limits. And now we're just in runners here at our 83s with 10 contracts left, and we've taken off 40 contracts in this range. So we have 10 left. So this trade is profitable regardless off of our flip. And if we can get above this, then I have some lots up into our highs there. For NQ specifically, there's nothing here until we can flip below. It's just a range trade. But our range being value high is our top edge into 290 on NQ. And our lows being the buyer here at 60 to 70. So what I would want to see for continuation down, right, is just this very clear flip and then hold. And then we could then look for that rotation back down to 225, 226. If that doesn't happen, then there's no reason to expect something new, right? We're just rotating. Just throw a range on it. Yeah, I had to stop watching them. It's like just straight up like death. It's like a Hollywood action scene, the amount of people who are dying. I want to reiterate just one more thing before I start to do my spiel and we start to head out as it gets into 2 o'clock here. We are balanced, right? And we have major news, right, and catalysts coming into the end of this week with NVIDIA. So I just like, there isn't a great positional trade you can take other than, I think like Braxton's trade is really good for the hedge. I think that's like a really solid hedge that he has. I think that that's probably worth just in case. But I think that the potential to continue from here is like relatively high. Like I'm not bearish at all. Not yet, at least. Like this balance can breach in either direction. And if we can like actually show interest outside of it, I don't think that there's like a very clear answer yet which way we want to go. And maybe they need to trap us a bit lower, but I just don't think that we're willing to come down here. Maybe I'm wrong, but this balance that we have down here is just like all we're doing is retesting the structure. That's what this orange box is, right? Like if we look on a weekly, hide all. So to me, like either we're like gonna rotate this previous auction, right? Once we get back in, or this is gonna sustain and then we're gonna push off of here. So to me, I can't really be anything other than just like neutral. It doesn't look great, but it's just a doji on the weekly with like basically equal lows and a big ass mother bar after a huge, breakout. So to me, I just like, I want to see a bit more here before I have a decision, before I make a decision. I think Braxton's hedge though is not bad going into that, because if we do fail here at this edge, we do have room, right? We've got a lot of room. We can retrace this entire candle and come back down, or we can come all the way back down to these lows down at 320, right? Like we don't know. But if this is going, if like we're gonna have good ERs and like things are gonna be good, and we hold these highs, like we make new highs very quickly, right? It's just a pivot. It's like trying to buy puts at value high, predicting that we're gonna do the full traverse through the range. Like it should only be a hedge. It shouldn't be your main bet. Do you get what I mean? Because like the thing that you should be expecting is a hold of our highs, right, on a retest, and a look for buyers to like try to defend and continue. So like the only way that you're like dooming here is that you believe that we need to come down a bit further, and that you want to then retrace that entire range. That's bearish. So I just want to like put that out there, because I think that that this is pretty clear. Like we need to breach this balance. This is just a mini version of this larger version here. Like, yes, we definitely have downside if we can break these lows and hold. That is true. I am in complete agreement with you. And that's what we have drawn here as well. But right now, we're just chilling in the mid. Do you see that? Like, is that clear? I don't know, man. So like, I don't think that like, what did Nick say? He's got a SPX 7500, 7000, 6500 butterfly put spread for September 30th, OPEX. So he is also looking at this as a potential shift to the downside if we fail the larger range. He sees the exact same thing, which is if we fail here, right? Hide all. It gives you protection. Oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to do both. Yeah, there you go. Right, so like that's the idea here, is like this would then give you hedging protection for this push down. But if we're able to hold, then you're all right? That's why it's a hedge. It's not, your position is that you're long tech and you're looking for new highs. You're hedging because you understand that a rotation back to 500s on SPX is potential. There's potential there. So this is like a really solid hedge into OPEX if we do get a downside, or an oversized downside move because of a catalyst that forms. Yeah. So the way that I do it, and I think that is probably good for a lot of you, is like we just create the local range, right? Like we know that we're bearish on a hold above or below this, right? So like below 655, we're bearish on a hold below it. On a push above 713, we have one time framing up again, and then we'll have strong trend. And we're just going to be playing this as a balance rotation where we're fading these edges until we can sustain outside of this area. And it's not going to be the greatest market in the world, but if we can go into it with that thought, right, we're creating incredible opportunities for us at these edges, right? Like these are where our liquidity is. And so then we get these really great rotations because we've accepted that this is the current balance that price wants to trade within, right? And until we can shift out of it, there is literally no reason to be looking for anything else. Can you play some intraday stuff? Yeah, for sure, right? Like right now we're playing off of this 90. We know that there's absorption here. Is this a major level? Yeah, it definitely is, right? It's the mid of our daily balance. It's this region. And it's where we continue to reject on today's day because we know that there's someone that's absorbing here for the last 2 days or a day. This is like every look above has failed on a look back in below 90 and then rotated us down. Is that continuing to happen? Yes, we've already talked about that there's someone taking in size there. We have to get above that for this upper auction play. If it doesn't, then there's no opportunity. It's just this rotation back and forth. But like understand that we are literally in the middle of our overall range and that below us, we have a gap that we can repair that could then lead us back up, right? Bop, and then push us back above 65s for then a turn back into this area, or we'll have a continuation down on the push below. But like, again, just understand where we're trading and like be mindful. Just be mindful. There's so many opportunities if we can play this correctly and patiently. And like, if you're going to be here in the morning, like mark the levels, man. The levels are solid at those edges where we trade into and then fade from. If you're waiting on me for to get on, you know, 30 or an hour into the day, and you haven't taken those trades that I've told you like where our edges are, and you're not willing to take those opportunities, like why are you sitting there for an hour before I get on? Like play the setups that are being offered to you that are structural, or you know, wait and then play the little fades with me throughout the day that we get. But why waste your time before that if you're not going to take the opportunities that are given? All right, that's it for me. This guy at 90, 92 is holding. We'll watch to see what happens as we push in. We need to see like a very clear flip and hold below this for more downside. They'll try to do it here, I think, but if they eat this, then there's no change. Again, we have to show interest below 60, 70 and offer it for more, or this buyer will take in here. It's our edge high. It makes sense. Yeah. So if we can get below 60, 65 offer and then step down, then you have a really nice short where you'll just play off this distribution on retest. If this continues to hold, this is just going to be a trap, and then we're going to do another rotation back up. Just like on the fade into these highs, you'll look for a fade into these lows. I want to see like a very clear flip back below this POC to value here, and then hold that as resistance for a rotation back down to 45s. Buyers absorbing at 65s on NQ so far. Again, you got to shift below that for literally anything real, and then re-offer that. Right now, you're looking for just a hold of a lower high at 75 to 80s, and then a shift below 65s for a short continuation. Or again, we will just rotate right back up. I think your best opportunity into the afternoon is going to be Russell back into these highs, and then playing this entire move to the downside once we've done the full oscillation, with NQ and ES both into our big high pivots as well. So everything would be at resistance together. That to me will probably be the real play into end of day if we don't just pop and trap, right? Everything at resistance together at the same time. We lose momentum, and then that's the end of it. So this is that lower high I was just talking about off of our bid at 65s. You'd watch POC here. If it's not going to do the full rotation back up, it'll reject here. So it'll be pretty clear if sell side isn't going to be able to push. If not, then again, we just trap at those lows and then we rotate with Russell moving. there's your full rotation that we were just talking about off that fade. Just to, again, it's a failure at the lows. That was very clear. And it's a rotation and traverse back up to our highs. That is a trade, right? Like, expect more of the same until it's proven otherwise. I can't like reiterate that enough, that there has to be like a very clear invalidation. There has to be a reason that the edge isn't going to work again. Because when we trap into these highs, like what we're doing here is we're just showing, or I don't even want to say trap, when we exhaust into highs and we show no interest above, what is price going, what can price do other than rotate back down to where value was found last, right? If we lose steam here, then like that's the auction. And it's like, oh, okay, well, we got to come back down and come back down to where buyers were before. Like, that's just the only logical thing that can happen. So you have to think that this is just like balance between a known seller and a known buyer until we see something that is very clear, where it's like, okay, we've potentially identified someone. And we know that if we can hold these highs and we make a lower high here, that there's potentially something more, right? Like, oh, okay, this guy might be trapped off sides. I know that we should expect some relief here. And I want to see a lower high get put in where we don't take highs out. If we can do that, and then we rotate down and then trap like this below 65s, then we have a potential trade, because then we have lower highs. And we have this guy who's off sides and was never able to get out of this position. It's like, oh, okay, maybe there's something there then. But until we are able to shift below and actually like see that sustain from sellers who want to actually, you know, hold our low, a balance, like we can't short that. You can either fade your edge high, right? Or look for the look back in for the traverse back through the known area. I don't know. I hope I'm clear at this point. I just repeat myself. I take the same trades every day. It's the same trade. So at this point, like, if you don't understand the trade, I don't know what to do for you, you know? This is your full rotation on ES from another hold. That was our target. Let's see if that's enough. I think Russell has a bit more. Like I said before, we want to see ES into our zone, our supply. We want to see NQ into our zone supply, right? And we want to see Russell also into our zone, which is our supply. That would then lead to downside on everything at the same time, which makes this, instead of a choppy balanced market, a directional market, right? Because then everything's moving together. So it's just something to keep your eye out on when we come up into here. If we start to fade and we see any sort of trap, then we look for this rotation back through to just play the balance once again. So keep that in mind. Again, we're at highs. I'm not looking for continuation potential here. That doesn't mean that you're going to get a full rotation to the downside. It just means that we're sideways here until proven otherwise. If we can get above and hold, right, we will be looking for a rotation up for basically 100 points into 400s, 395s. If this fails, right, we're just looking for the same trades again. It needs to be below 180 for real moves to the downside. Same thing with ES. This is the top until we can show interest over 95s, but once we do, we can look up into our top edge, 700s, 705s, 708s. These guys aren't looking too good so far into those highs on ES. Just watch Russell into that top. I'm really thinking that that might be it. We'll see. All right, I'm out of here regardless. I'm not staying for the full session. And the plan is so clear. It's so unbelievably clear. It's been the same plan for the entire week, right? So we either fade the edges and rotate back through, or you aren't looking for a trade until we get out of this area, because it's either you're trading balance or you have nothing to do. So goodbye. I will see you all tomorrow.